Logic Guy. Here's my second tutorial on To Not Touch, also known as Star Battle by Crazy Dad. CrazyDad.com is the company that allowed me to use these puzzles for tutorials, so please feel free to visit that site. That's Crazy Dad with a K. Okay, so this is my second one. I'm going to go a little bit faster. I think we know the basics. We're going to try to get 2 stars in each row, 2 stars in each column, and 2 stars in each diagram without the stars being next to or adjacent to another star. And in those cells, you have to put a dot. So what am I seeing here that's sort of popping out? There's not a lot. This is a little bit more difficult than the last puzzle. I see the 41. I like to call it a 41 right here. That means you can only put a star in one of these 4. And the reason is because each of these cells in these 4 all are adjacent to the other ones. So that then remains this one here, the 1, definitely needs a star. So there you go, that's the first one. And then we put dots around the adjacent cells. And there we go, that's the first one. And we know that we're going to have to put a star in either here or here, but we're not sure which one. So for the time being, we will put a dot there, because if we put a star here, it's adjacent to this cell and this cell. And if we put a star here, it's adjacent to this cell and that cell. So what else is popping out at me? Well, this is kind of an easy one in this regard, at least for this diagram. If you see that the entire row is part of one diagram, that means that there's going to have to be 2 stars in this row and 2 stars in this diagram. So the remaining cells are dots. Pretty logical, right? We just don't know where the 2 stars are going to go yet, but that helps a little bit. What else do we have here? Right below this one, this diagram, if you notice, this cell here touches this one, and that one. So there's no way we could put a star here because we would be adjacent to another star. So we have to put a dot there. But by doing that, it leaves 3 other cells. This one and these 2. These 2 we know we can't put 2 stars next to each other, so it's going to be one of these 2. But this one is definitely going to be a cell with a star. So we're going to eliminate the cells around those. Plus it's a full column. So there we go. So that column is complete. So where do we go here? If you look at this diagram here and this diagram here, they both have one more star to go in each. And it's either going to be here and here for this diagram or here and here. My point is, definitely 1 star is going in this diagram, definitely 1 star is going in that diagram. So that means the rest of the cells in the column are eliminated. Does that make sense? Hope it does. So what else is popping out at me? I see a 41. That's what I like to call it. You can't put 2 stars in these 4, only 1. But we know that one of the stars has to go here. So we put that here, which eliminates that cell. And so we don't know where the other 2 go here yet, but somewhere at some point here. So what else is going on here? Anything else popping out at me? Well, we have, see, this is where it gets a little challenging because we're saying what else is popping out. We know that we have this. We know that we're going to have to put 2 stars in this row. Could be a star in this diagram, like for instance, it could be a star here and a star here. Or maybe only 1 star and the other star here. We don't know, but we do know is that we need at least 1 star in these 3. So by doing that, we know that this cell, that cell, and this cell all are adjacent to here. So we're going to be eliminating that. Okay, it doesn't really help us out a ton because we still have a bunch of cells here, right? Second row, so we can't really do any more work on that one. Third row, still we have this we have to deal with, we have this to deal with, and we have that to deal with. So this is getting quite, here's one. I forgot, there's an adjacent to this star. So now, by doing that, this then solves this row completely. Sometimes they're just real obvious. where you need to put a dot, and it's usually a diagonal to the cell. So this completes this row, right? So that makes it easier, let's just say that. There's another cell adjacent to this star, and here's another one. By doing that, we've now been able to put us in a position to solve this diagram here. This will get us our second one, our second star. And not only does it fill this diagram, it also completes this row. So we are making progress, believe it or not. That's what I love about this game. So what have we learned? Where else can we go? So we know that this column is complete. We know that this column is complete. We know that we can't complete this column because we have these two slots there and these two, and this single one. So we can't do anything there. What else is popping out at me? Well, I have one here, and one here. Adjacent. There you go. A diagonal. I miss those all the time. But by doing that, it leaves only these two cells left for this diagram, and there we go. So we always gotta get these adjacent cells taken care of before we get too fancy and start looking for the next solution, which then, of course, completes this column. So we're good. So we got this column complete. We have this row complete. Anything else popping out? This column. Here we go. By doing all of this, we now have only one cell left in this diagram. So that cell and that diagram is now complete. Has that made it any easier to solve any of these other issues? Not right yet. Not right yet. We still have 3 cells for this diagram. Here we go. We got a 4-1, a 41 like I call it. And a 41 is, remember, you can't put 2 stars in these 4. You can only put 1 because they are all adjacent. But here we go. It's a 41, so we get to complete that row. So that's good. So has that then given us any more things to work with here as I scan? Nothing's popping out right away. There's got to be something here. We have this and this one here on this column. We're not able to solve it yet. We have 2 and 2 for this column. That means that we can only put a star in one of these 2 and a star in one of these 2 because we can't put them next to each other. But if you put a star in one of these 2, that means you have a dot here because a star here would be adjacent to this and a star here would be adjacent to this. Same principle here is that we'd have to have a dot here and a dot here. So the question is, do we put the star here? Which one? We know we need to put a star here, but we don't know which one. And we know we have to put a star here. So if we put a star here and a star here, that means that this would eliminate this column. Makes sense? Because there's got to be a star in one of these 2, and a star in one of these 2, and a star in one of these 2. So we just don't know which ones yet. So that's 3 columns, and we have here and here. We haven't been able to resolve that yet. We have here and here. Can't resolve that yet. Can't resolve this column yet. Can't resolve that column yet. So what are we going to do here? Anything else popping out? We go to this. Now we're looking at rows. Here we got the infamous 1 and 2. Can't put a star next to each other here. So this one has to be the logical place. And there's going to be a star here or a star here. So that means, again, elimination because they will both be adjacent to here. And by doing that, what does that do? Does it help us out anymore? It just tells us that there's got to be a star either here or here for this diagram and here for this diagram. So again, we put these 2 up here because a star here would be adjacent to this one, and the same if we put a star here. So we're making some progress on these columns and rows, but we're not done. We still have 3 to go for this column. What else do we get? No, we still haven't solved it out. I thought we might be able to complete this row. We cannot. Can't complete this row yet. This row is complete. Well, we know that we're going to have to put a star here in one of these. So by doing that, that means we can't put a star here, right? because we have to put a star either here or here and a star here and here. So that just eliminates, if anything. But we have these 3 cells left. Can't put a star here because it's adjacent to this and just, so we go like this, put a star here, oops, star here. Now these columns are complete. That allows me to do that. This column's complete. Still haven't been able to complete this one yet. This column's complete. We still have 2 spots here. This column's complete. This one still is not. Oh, here we go. But by filling these in with stars, this eliminates this row. Good. So that remains, we have 3 that remain, here and here and here. And again, you cannot put a star here and a star here. You can only put 1 in here anyway because there's a star here. So this is going to go here. That's going to be eliminating that column. By eliminating that column, guess what? It revealed just these 2 spaces left in these cells for stars. Star, star. This column's complete. What else is popping out? This row now can only have 2 stars, and they can't be, so can't have the middle one because that would touch both, either one of these. So here we go here. Here we go here. This row's complete. This row's complete. Oh, this column's complete, so that eliminates that. This row's complete. Don't know here yet what we're doing. This row's complete. This row's complete. This row's complete. Again, we don't know. Oh, this is a real obvious one with these adjacent ones with the diagonal. I always seem to miss them. And by doing that, I can now complete this row, which now allows me to complete this column. So we are almost done here. We only have 2 slots left for this right here and right here. And there you go. 15 minutes. Wow. That was a long time. But again, this was tricky.